All right, welcome everybody to the Week in Review. The Week in Review. And let's go right now to all the scores of the Week in Review. So here we go. UConn beat Georgia Southern 27-21. They're 4-1 and well, they're looking good. Sam Houston beat Jacksonville State by 3, a very close game. Jacksonville State might be a toilet bowl team. Tulane beat East Carolina 35-21, small college, good game. Memphis beats Western Kentucky 35-21. They're ranked. I don't know if they're playoff bound. UCF 23-6 over Tulsa. UCF solid 5-1, but they're not ranked yet. Buffalo beat Arkansas State in two good mid-majors. Arkansas State beat Arkansas. Minnesota 34-24 over Purdue. Purdue much improved over last year, but Minnesota gets a conference win there. Miami of Ohio beat Akron 31-13. They're 1-0 in the MAC. Bowling Green 31-28, a very big rivalry. And they have the tiebreaker over Toledo. Michigan beat Northwestern. They're 4-1. They'll move up. Illinois 23-21, trying to salvage their year. UMass over Kent State 40-10. Wake Forest 21-13 over Army. A very good game that was. Wisconsin beat Louisville. Louisville was only 1-4. Wisconsin is 5-3, 2-0 in the conference. Notre Dame barely beat West Virginia at West Virginia. We watched the game. One heck of a game there. Kansas beat Colorado State by 6. And a very big game there as Florida blew away Ohio and two Heisman Trophy people going at it. Arizona State by 19 over Utah. Their 15th might stay the same. BC over Georgia Tech 14-7. Both teams mediocre. San Jose State 6-1 for small colleges. They beat Wyoming, and Wyoming might be a toilet bowl team. Oklahoma trying to get on track, 31-27 over Mississippi State. They survive. 8 overtimes. Miami beat Arkansas 41-39. Michigan State 17-14. They beat Ohio State. Ohio State number 1. They were beaten. Number 1 goes down. Ohio State, we said that in the last broadcast. They're going to drop. The question is how far. And their game against Penn State, oh, that's going to be totally different now. So they got upset. Ohio State got upset. That was huge. Fresno State beat New Mexico State by 12. Kansas State trying to get in. They lost to Iowa State, but they won all their games now. And they beat Oklahoma State by 10. Ole Miss trying to get back into it. They beat Washington State. They're on a little bit of a comeback. They collapsed last year. Eastern Michigan beat Northern Illinois by 12. They're 6-2. They're looking good. Western Michigan beat Ball State by 3. Ball State might be a toilet bowl team. Cincy beat Kentucky. Cincy is 5-1, 1-0 in their division. That'll be big. Georgia all over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt 0-3 might be done. Georgia 5-2. They're 9th. They're going. USC beat Iowa. It was a close game. Then USC pulled away 27-6. They're undefeated. They're going to move up. UAB by 2 over Florida Atlantic. They're 500. Played 8 games. Appalachian State over Georgia State. App State is 4-1. Arizona is 6-1 as they beat BYU. Look for them to be ranked. Texas State 41-36 over Troy. Troy might be a toilet bowl team. Penn State 32-15. Then Nebraska scored late 32-22, but they're undefeated. They might be number 1. La Tech is now 5-2 after they beat Liberty 12-7, low scoring game. Houston's undefeated. They beat Baylor. Look for them. They might get ranked. SMU trying to turn their season around. Big win over Missouri State. Old Dominion high scoring game against Marshall, 97 points in 10-minute quarters. That was fun to watch. Oregon State beats AA 41-0. Delaware 4-1 in this year, having a great year. They beat New Mexico, and New Mexico might be a toilet bowl team. James Madison 24-20 over South Alabama. San Diego State 17-12 over Nevada. Nevada might be a toilet bowl team. USF 30-20 over North Texas. It was North Texas's first loss. Boise State is 4-2 as they beat Rice 14-6. Utah State 38-31 over Hawaii. I watched that game. Utah State escapes the toilet bowl. UTEP hung in there for a half against Oregon. It was 31-17 at the half, and then they pulled away 48-24. UNLV beat Air Force 30-10, and Cal 4-1. They beat Virginia 24-10. Now, let's go to the next week. It'll be week number 8. Week number 8. Let's take a look right now. Pitt at Stanford. Now, Penn State, number 1. They will play Michigan this week. That'll be a huge game. So Penn State is number 1. LSU is number 2. They play Western Kentucky. If they were to lose this game, they wouldn't be ranked. South Carolina is number 3. They're going to be a bye. Oregon is number 4. They have a bye. Texas is number 5. Oh my God, they're at Georgia. They are at Georgia. That's going to be a heck of a game. We have a lot of big games. Texas A&M has a bye. They're up to 6. Clemson plays AA. They're 7th. Georgia plays Texas. A huge game there. They're number 8. USC plays Notre Dame. A huge week this week. 9. Tennessee plays New Mexico State. They're 10th. Ohio State goes down to 11th after losing unranked Michigan State. They play UCLA. Notre Dame, they beat West Virginia. And now they play USC. We know that. Michigan at Penn State, a huge game for their playoffs. Kansas State, they move down. They play Wisconsin. Arizona State stays the same, 15th. They play trap game. Ole Miss is 16th. They don't move in. Florida stays at 17. They beat Ohio. Indiana at 18. They play Michigan State. Miami has a bye. TCU will play Texas Tech. Memphis 35-21. They play at Western. They have a bye. Colorado plays Baylor. Washington at Oregon State. There we go. Auburn's 24th. Alabama is 25th. The coaches poll: Penn State, LSU, South Carolina, Oregon, Clemson, Georgia, Texas, Michigan, Texas A&M, Tennessee, USC, Ohio State. Colorado's 17th. Florida, Miami, Indiana is 20th. Missouri, Oklahoma, TCU, Alabama, Auburn. Others: Rutgers, Washington, Memphis, and no playoff yet. The other ones: Missouri, Houston, undefeated, Rutgers, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Duke has a vote. And there we go. Let's take a look at the standings. Conference standings now. Penn State, they're 1-0. They're going to play again Michigan. Michigan's first Big Ten game. And this is going to be a very, very big one, as what's going to happen? Penn State and Michigan. Wow. That's going to be huge. Huge. Conference USA, the Mountain. Houston University, they're 5-0. They're 1-0 in the conference. The West, San Diego State. They're 2-0, and Fresno State is 2-0 in the conference. The Independents, the good ones, San Jose State, 6-1. Jacksonville State, terrible. The Florida International, bad. Happens. Miami University's 1-0. Toledo is 2-1. I think they control their own destiny. Toledo. The MAC, the outer of Ohio, Western Michigan, and Buffalo. Western Michigan was terrible, and now they won 2 straight. Buffalo is there. Central, then Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, and Ball State. Eastern Michigan 6-2. The mid-major North, Memphis and Cincinnati. That'll be very big when they play. The mid-major South is UCS, UCF, and Tulane and USF. That'll be very big there. The Pac-12 North, which is actually South, USC is 1-0, Arizona State 1-0. The Pac-12 South, Oregon 1-0, and that's going to be Washington is 23rd. There, the SEC East, look at that. South Carolina 2-0, Clemson 1-0, Georgia's 2-1, Tennessee is 1-1, Georgia Tech is 1-1, Vanderbilt 0-3, the SEC West. Miami is 3-0. They just beat Arkansas in a huge game. Alabama, Florida, and Auburn are all in there. Alabama's 1-2. Their playoff hopes are going down the drain. Sunbelt East, UConn. That looks like it's going to be a fun little conference and a good conference tournament. Appalachian State is 4-1. And let's see, they're Arkansas State. They're 1-0 in the conference. Louisiana also. The ACC North, Rutgers is 5-1, 1-0 in the conference. Syracuse. Virginia Tech is 1-1. BC, Virginia, and Maryland. The ACC South, you have Duke. Wake Forest is 3-0. North Carolina, Navy, Army, and NC State. Wake Forest might take that one. The American Conference, the American East, LSU 1-0, Oklahoma State 1-0. Ole Miss is 1-1, Oklahoma's 1-1. TCU and Mississippi State are where they are. The American West, Texas is 5th, Texas A&M is 6th. Colorado is 22nd. The Big 12 East, Minnesota's 1-0, Wisconsin 2-0, and you see Purdue much better, but Illinois, Louisville, Northwestern hasn't had a game. Missouri now in the Big 12 West, Missouri, Iowa State, Kansas State. Remember, they lost to Iowa State in the beginning of the year, and I mean, they're 4-1, they're 14th ranked. But Iowa State, if they were to win out, they would not win the division. That would hurt their playoffs. Let's take a look right now then at the players of the week. Devin Jackson for Oregon, 8 tackles, a sack, forced fumble, interception, touchdown. Trey Brown, 14 receptions, 362 yards. That was good. Now you can take a look at everybody else in slow motion. Singleton had 207 yards for Penn State as they beat Nebraska. So there we go. And then we're going to look at the Heisman Watch. So the Heisman Trophy Watch. Kevin Jennings against Missouri State, really good. Joey Aguilar out of Tennessee. No game last week. He moves down. He's number 10. Zachariah Branch, a wide receiver. At Vanderbilt, 7 for 222. That was incredible. Diego Pavia for Vanderbilt, 23 of 30, 232 a score. He went down. Parker Navarro for Ohio. Not that great. He goes down to 5th. You just never know in this trophy. Kevin Jennings, a quarterback, all quarterbacks except for Zachariah Branch. I don't understand it, but that'll be all right. Your main games, Texas at Georgia. A huge game in which I really think that will define the season. Michigan at Penn State. Huge game. Michigan at Penn State, very, very big. And USC at Notre Dame. A big historic rivalry, especially playoff implications. Notre Dame with 2 losses. I don't know if they're going to be able to get back in if they have 3 losses. So they're going to really need to play USC. USC might lose, and still get in. You never know. And Texas Tech and TCU. Let's take a look at the schedules. South Alabama, Arkansas State, Delaware, Jacksonville State. There we go. UTEP, Sam Houston. UTEP was a toilet bowl guy last year, but a lot better. Louisiana Tech, Kennesaw. Houston at UCF, a big one. Purdue, Northwestern, Michigan State, Indiana. Indiana's 18th. They need to win. Southern Miss, Louisiana, New Mexico State, Tennessee. UCLA at Ohio State. Oh, that might be a unique game. Virginia Tech at Florida State. Clemson AA. Auburn AA. LSU hosts Western Kentucky. Florida Atlantic, East Carolina. James Madison and Old Dominion. Georgia State, Georgia Southern. Rivalry. Temple, Charlotte. UMass, Central Michigan. Syracuse at Ohio. A rare game like that. Army versus North Carolina. Iowa State at Oklahoma State. Rutgers and Virginia. Texas Tech at TCU. NC State, Navy. Baylor and Colorado. Colorado trying to win and move up. Penn State versus Michigan. That's got to be the game of the week. Florida International and Wyoming. Western Michigan, Buffalo. Kent State, Toledo. Northern Illinois, Bowling Green. Central Coastal Carolina and App State. Florida, Kentucky. Florida wins again. They'll be good. Missouri and Oklahoma. That is a very big game. UAB Tulsa, Liberty USF, Duke BC, UNLV Boise State, BYU Utah, Cal Louisville, San Jose State, Utah State, Hawaii Colorado State, Rice and Alabama, Miami at Texas State, Nebraska Kansas, UTSA and Northern Texas, USC and Notre Dame. That's huge. Minnesota, Illinois, Nevada, New Mexico, West Virginia at Arizona State. So it's not the other way around. Air Force at UConn. That'll be a good game for UConn and Air Force. Texas at Georgia. Another very big game. Marshall, Middle Tennessee. Eastern Michigan AA. Kansas State at Wisconsin. A huge test for Kansas State. Can they win a very difficult place? Washington at Oregon State. So Washington, if they can win at Oregon State, they'll be 6-0. And Pitt at Stanford. Pitt is 4-1. They beat Miami. And they play at Stanford. Should be a big one. Non-conference game. All right, that's going to be it for us today. Have a great day. We'll see you later.